Welcome
Hello,
everybody.
everyone. I always do that.
Oh,
right?
we always messed it up. We messed it up already.
Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Please, Jake.
Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Toon Talk 2.0.
Perfect. Welcome, everyone. We have a special guest today. We're going to start with this amazing persona because I really want to share this with everyone. I'm really happy because we have singers, we have people that knows about pop culture, but this is the first time have somebody that understands theaters and works in the theater field. So please, Jake,
We're classing it up a bit.
introduce.
We're classing it up a bit here.
I'm the first theater artist that you've had on your show.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, ever.
I'm honored, and I do not claim to represent or speak for all theater artists. I'm not even an actor, which is what I would say the majority are, but not me.
Oh, you can't just put the show together with actors.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh.
You need everything.
That does not go well, I will tell you what.
Well, everybody wants to be Hamlet.
Exactly. Or Ophelia.
Oh, fair enough. But anyway,
I really prefer to be Shakespeare for real. I will not like to be Hamlet. I will die. What's the point of it?
Unless
I don't want to die.
Unless you take it to Hamlet too, like I advise you. But anyway, Tamara, would you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hello, audience. My name is Tamara Carroll, and I am a freelance director. I got my master's degree in drama and theater for youth and communities. So I have done a lot of work, both directing young people and making work for young people in and out of school settings. And right now I'm the director of community engagement at Profile Theater in Portland, Oregon. And I am the festival director of the Fertile Ground Festival of New Works, which is a citywide local new works festival in Portland, entering into its 15th year, I believe. And that's me. That's what I do.
That's an introduction. You see?
Yeah.
You see how we can be good, Jake?
That
sounds. We can have content in this podcast.
I was going to say that sounds really important.
Those are just the top of the resume credits at this point in time. I've done it.
Congratulations for all that.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
There's a lot there, but what really perked me up was when you mentioned that you were involved in I don't remember your exact verbiage, but basically you work with young people in theater.
Yeah.
And that's tremendous, because I will say, when Virus sent me the information for this episode, I was very excited because I love theater, which surprises a lot of people. I don't know why, but theater's awesome. But some of the best stage productions I've ever seen, and this isn't hyperbolic, some of the best I've seen are either student productions, like at the high school level, or local community theater.
That's how we met. Actually, I just got kicked from kindergarten, and then Tamara showed me the theater because everybody knows that I'm 5. You know that I'm 5 years old, right, Tamara? So I'm a little kid. So
yeah,
that's how I get involved
with Benjamin Button situation going, or.
Oh, you're calling me old? Sorry.
No,
Sorry, Jake. I interrupt you.
Oh no, you're fine. Well, technically, whether you're Benjamin Button or not, the best part about that is no matter which way you're going, you're still middle-aged at some point. But
there you go.
Now I'm middle-aged. So thank you for ruining my position in life. For a moment, I want to be younger, and you guys put me in the middle again.
Well, but if you're Benjamin Button,
you're
gonna get younger. So,
Oh, right.
Silver lining.
Yeah, I wasn't even really. Benjamin Button was the thing I thought of, but what I'm really thinking about is there was a Robin Williams character. I think he's called Jack. Was it Jack?
Yep,
who
it was
just
Jack.
was young, but outside aged very quickly, which I think was just like another way to do a situation with like Tom Hanks in Big, where you just have like an adult actor playing a child, like
A
someone
kid.
who's a child in
Yeah.
an adult's body. Always a great shtick.
Okay, so Tamara was calling you old.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Thank you,
No,
everyone.
I'm
That
saying
was
you
great.
look old, but you
Oh,
don't have
Oh,
the maturity of
no,
a full-grown man.
you know what? I was wrong because Tamara's right. Yes, Jack
So I'm not
is.
old. I just look old. Thank you,
Yes,
You look
Tamara.
old. That's
Now I love you more than ever.
there
Thank
you
you
go.
very much.
I
This
really
was
have a
Toon Talk
way
for
of
today. Have a good night, everyone.
yes, I ingratiate myself to people wherever I go. Yeah.
no, I think that's true. But what I
It's
wanted
okay.
to, but what
That's
I
what I
wanted,
deserve for interrupt everyone. That's what I deserve exactly.
you're fine. No, but one of the things I want to like just give kudos for because I don't think we see enough of it. I don't think there would ever be enough of it, honestly. Is getting kids involved with theater and drama and everything in between performance in general. I just had a conversation with somebody I met on TikTok. Actually, the conversation was going on. I paused it to do the podcast, but he's got a background in stand-up comedy and improv, and we were talking about how improv is so valuable in the business world because my day job is sales, but the ability to be able to do yes and or it's not quite stepping into a stage character, but you have a persona when you're in sales. You might have a couple of personas depending on your customer. It's a very, very valuable skill. And I think teaching it is very worthwhile, even if the kids in question don't have a future in show business. It's still very valuable. And not to mention, it's a whole lot of fun and it just expands your cultural horizons.
Absolutely. I think I completely agree, and that's why I've spent so much time focusing on was not the only reason, but I was in a role where we were largely focusing on social emotional learning for young people and using theater and especially like improv, right? Where you're cultivating listening skills, you're figuring out collaboration, right? Like you've got an idea that I need to get on board with and figure out how to add something of value to it from my perspective. And we're like making a thing together as we go. Yeah, I think it teaches all kinds of very valuable life skills and
It's
interpersonal skills.
I believe that in a serious matter that I don't barely do serious things in my life, even talking, right? I'm not a serious person. But theater had teach me that if you learn how to listen and work as a team, you get a beautiful accomplishment that lasts forever. And the pace of the as everybody knows, I'm more specialized in TV series and movies from the writing to directing. However, the fast pace that you need to work on theater and the energy that you get from the audience right away, every show is different, and you get perfected. You can see a play in the premiere and the last one, and everyone is different. The energy that everyone is bringing together. So something about that I love about theater, and if you allow me to share with you guys, really really easy and fast. My first approach to entertainment, I was probably 10 years old. My sister Blanca, that works here and there with Tamara, um, she invited me. She was probably the assistant of the assistant in that time, right? I'm talking about a long time ago. And she invited me to see a play that changed my life forever because I get to see from day one the rehearsal, the director's notes, the light notes, because she was babysitting me because she was working and I needed to be there. So I was there in the whole preparation till the point that I got the chance to see the premiere. And I remember that director was fantastic. He's not around anymore, right? His name was Enrique Gorlero, and I was there so long, so many times that when he before he finished his notes, he asked everyone, "What do you think about it?" And he looked at me in the top and he told me, "Hey Max, what do you think?" I was probably 11, right? And I was like, this is great. He's like, good, we got that note. He made me feel involved. And there's many, many stories. Actually, that play, uh, I cannot tell you why, because I bought the rights and actually we did a script for a movie that we plan to do in a couple of years. So it's a fantastic, that's how much theater impact my life. So yeah, sorry, Tamara. Of course
No,
I'm
thank you.
interrupting.
Thank you. I am always surprised meeting people in, out in the real world who haven't committed their life to theater, who have some sort of um memorable or impacting like experience or like early on, whether it's seeing or like so many people who are like yeah, I did theater in high school, I did theater in college, and like I decided that I would make money instead, but wow, it like really like it's still, they still have like a place in their heart for it. And it's too bad. It's too bad that there are not more ways for people. We can get into a whole critique of capitalism, but that
Oh,
people
please do. Oh, please
have
do.
just that
Please do.
people don't have more like leisure time to pursue a variety of things that they enjoy, artistic outlets that they don't have to necessarily dedicate their lives to, but can enrich their lives, But theater takes a lot of time and energy, so it's hard to kind of like dip a toe in.
But do you know what? Actually, right now, actors in theater are making way more money than the actors in movies. So you are more profitable now in theater. Believe that. Well, yeah, the whole strike. Nobody's working.
Oh,
We've been
I'm
working
making
the
a
last
very
6 months.
skeptical face because I think it must really depend, and it must really depend on like the size of the market, I mean,
Yeah,
actors.
but I was being ironic that they haven't worked in 6 months and you guys are working.
Oh, sure.
I never said they were richer. I said that they're
Sure,
making more money now.
sure. Yeah.
So yeah. So tell us a little bit how you got involved in theater. What brought you to be involved in theater? What actually was the I want to do theater now?
Yeah, there wasn't a moment for me. I can sort of identify more clearly how I got into working with young people in theater than theater in general. I would say like I started doing theater in high school, and I was I went through a very rough time in high school where I was not thinking about my future very much. Um, not to be like super dark, but I like wasn't necessarily planning on having a future. So, but I was involved in theater, and that was kind of the one place that I still had a lot of love and enthusiasm for. So I poured a lot of time and energy, and that just kind of became, well, that I haven't made a plan to do anything else. So I sort of let momentum carry me a little bit through undergrad doing theater. And then I was, I kind of two things happened at once, both in like 2009 ish. I got a job as a touring stage manager for Oregon Children's Theater for their educational theater program. So I was going around to schools doing like assembly style shows, and I was like the tour manager, and the is it was just so much fun. um I'm just like being able to kind of dip in and do a show, and especially for like little kids, they're so generous, honestly, like they're screaming with laughter, and like saying just like, this was the most incredible day of my entire life, I feel like I'm riding a unicorn while eating a turkey sandwich. And you're like, awesome, rock on, kid. uh, and and then I also simultaneously started working in the summer at this performing arts camp on the East Coast. And that's kind of when I realized that when you're working with, that's when I was like working with young people, like directing young people. And that's when I was like, it doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter how the show turns out. Like it's nice to make a beautiful show. It's nice to make a show that everybody's proud in. And it's nice to feel like everybody has done really good work. But if you have successfully um, connected, if you've successfully like guided a young person through being like taking on a challenge that's just like a little bit outside of their comfort zone and guiding them to like succeed, if you're like picking that kid that you know nobody had seen before, or really like there's this story of this kid at camp who the first 3 years she was there, she like almost got kicked out every year, for like biting, for fighting, for like whatever, just had a really difficult time managing her emotions and so on and so forth. And I know that the discipline required and the faith that people were putting in her, and the fact that like you put someone like that in a lead role and suddenly they see themselves in a leadership position, um like she has told me, but also I just like watched it, and so I know like that changed her path, that like changed her path in life. And I got to be one of um the people that was like catching her when she was about to fall. I got to be part of this community that was catching her when she was about to fall and saying like, we believe you have something really valuable and special, and you need to get it together so that you can like share that gift to its fullest and do this for someone else someday. And she does.
Fantastic.
Sorry, very
That
long.
was gonna ask you.
Very long.
No. That's fine. That's why you're here. That was all the time for today, guys. See you next. Yes. Nah, that was it. Um, if you can, and I know this is gonna be a hard one to answer, but if you have one moment in your heart, in all your experience in the theater, doesn't matter if it's on the stage, outside the stage, directing, a negotiation, something that is related to theater, that is that what a story that you share all the time because it's really close to your heart. You're holding it close to your heart. What will be that experience or story you will have with the theater life?
What would that story be?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of that story that I just told of that young woman. I cast her my first year at camp that I got to do a big musical. She auditioned, and I remember her voice like blew the walls out of like the side of this like concrete, not literally, but like she just like blew our minds. And we had no one had ever put her in a role like this before, because she was kind of always at risk of being sent home. But it was the beginning of camp, and we're like, let's, like, we have to allow people to, you can't put people in a box. We have to allow people to have changed. And so she took this role, and she worked so hard, and she was incredible. She crushed it, and like everyone was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's the same kid. And we only get to do the show once at camp. You do the show one time, you work for weeks, you do the show once. And after the show, she came up to me and she's sobbing. And she said, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I said, don't thank me. Like you did this. You should be proud of yourself. And she said, no, thank you for giving me an opportunity to be proud of myself.
That's really
And
nice.
yeah, that's, I mean,
Well, that's huge.
Yeah, that's
Tamara, that's
massive.
huge. Because it was a pretty story with a sequel. So
yeah.
it felt good. So
Yeah.
I like it.
Just out of curiosity, do you remember what show they did?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was Bat Boy, the musical, and they played Bat Boy. And I mean this I mean, she's a young woman now. I mean, she's just got like a phenomenal voice. And I mean, like literally and seriously, maybe on Broadway someday soon. Like
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah, when she gets there, we'll have her on.
I will, when I see that, I'll be like, guys, call her up.
That's awesome. We can have her before. It's fine.
That's true. Yeah, she doesn't need to go on Broadway.
See, sorry, Broadway guy.
No, I think yeah.
I think she needs the incentive, honestly. I was like, you cannot be on this show until you're on Broadway. Sorry. Just keep working at it.
But actually, Virus, you inadvertently brought up a point that I think a lot of people who either aren't into theater, they're not fans of theater, or are just starting to there's this kind of perception that if it's not Broadway, it's not theater. And it's like, no, like I said, some of the best productions I've seen were student productions. And I mean, granted, this school really invested in its theater department. They did a production of Into the Woods that had no business being as good as it was. It's better than the movie. I didn't laugh at all during the movie. I fell out of my chair during this production. Like, they were just on it. And then the same thing happened with the community production in my local hometown with a population of, I think, like maybe, well, more than that, but I was going to say maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people. They did Some Things Afoot. I don't know that I've ever laughed as hard at that point. And then I saw Into the Woods and I laughed harder, but it was so funny. So there's theater around. You don't have to buy expensive Broadway tickets to enjoy a good stage production.
And there's so many opportunities to see art when it comes to theater. I mean, Portland is a big city for theater. Big city for theater. True. Los Angeles is a little lost, but it's there. It's there. It's not as much. Obviously, New York outside Broadway. Chicago is a big city for that. Atlanta. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. It's just a matter of understand what theater is going to bring to you, right? And you don't have to be a well-known, illustrated, cultivated person to enjoy the art of theater. You just need to have the willing to learn, because you're always going to live with something big after you go for the theater, because the writers are, I don't want to say honest, because I know they're good, honest writers in LA or in the movie business, but here are more unfiltered. They're less controlled. They're more open to express what they're looking for the audience. Because in the theater, for the people that don't know, you have a reaction from the audience right away. Right away. In the movies or in the TV, yes, you don't, or streaming. And here you're looking to have a reaction for the audience, because a play could be extremely heavy and people will feel the weight of the lights on them, the audience, or they can be, like you say, Jake, laughing all their way of their chairs, right? I mean, we have more composure. We're not going to lose and fall from our chairs.
Oh, I will, Jake, in a heartbeat.
You're a disgrace.
Yeah,
you're a disgrace. We don't like you for that.
It was funny. What can I say?
But yeah, theater is amazing. Obviously, I love theater because I grew up in a family that loved theater. I never done theater myself. Well, once, and I was doing the music and the sound, but I was like 16, right? Nobody else will do it, and I jump in, but in a professional matter. But after that, I never done it. But I'm around a lot of good friends are theater, because I grew up in Portland. I study in Portland State University, so I got a lot of friends in the industry. My last script, I wrote it with the ex-director of the Artist Repertory Theater, Damaso Rodriguez, that he just got a
Uh-huh.
nomination in Miami. As, so he's, for the person that know about theater, he's a big thing. And that guy wrote the script with me, my last script, because let me share this with everyone. When I met Damaso, it was a premiere night, and Damaso is it's like totally. If you think that you are my counterpart, Jake, forget about it. Damaso's his hair is always perfectly done. He's always straight. He's always serious. Everybody say hello like that. And I was there, and I want to say, "Hey, what's up?" Right? And that is like two worlds collide, and we became really good friends because of that. And one day I told him I want to write a script. He told me congratulations because he calls me from my name, and he's really serious. It took me around 8 sessions of writing for get a laugh from him. That he finally go like, ha, 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 ha. I go like, you're laughing, right? Because he's a really serious person. It's totally the opposite of me. But then we finished the script, and of course it's under review, and I with the strike, blah 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 blah. But it's a really good script, and I always believe that the best actors, and everyone can get mad at me. You can put it in the comments. Are the actors from theater? A theater actor will deliver everything that you put them. Doesn't matter if it's the streaming TV, but a movie theater. A movie person can't do theater, right? So, in my perception,
Not
I believe that
always,
they are more
but
complete.
not always,
Tell me
but
one.
yeah.
Tell
Uh,
me one.
uh,
Oh my God! I bet you 50% of my ownership of this podcast.
I
Telling
wouldn't
you the
I
only
wouldn't do
actor that
that.
can do theater and movies is because he was in theater before.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Well, now you put the
I'm
asterisks on it. All right, all right. Actually, no. I will take that bet, sir. Daniel
Daniel
Radcliffe.
Radcliffe.
I
Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm pretty sure he did at least a theater school play before.
don't believe
I mean,
so.
no, I think they probably plucked him out of, I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe but he was like eight or something, right? But
He was 11 when he starred in Harry Potter. So
11, okay. But like he probably took theater classes somewhere along the way, I assume. But they're different
Maybe I'm
skills,
talking
what
for
I'll
my part.
say.
They're
Like
different skills.
I think theater, I mean honestly, I what film and TV actors can do blows my mind because they have, like when you're on stage, you get to do the whole show from beginning to end. You get to go through your emotional arc. You get to do the scenes in order. Your scene partner that you're like they say like acting is reacting, right? Like um you don't have sometimes a scene partner to react to. Like when I look at these actors who are like trying to deliver these massive emotional, right, and all they've got is like three cameras in their face, and or like brooms with faces on them that light up to tell them like which dwarf is like speaking or whatever, like that, like to be able to be authentic and in character with that blows my mind.
Yeah, don't take me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not magnificent. I'm saying that it's easier for a theater actor to go and do what you just described, and it's harder from the guy that does that and works with green screen to go and stand in a theater because he got to learn the whole thing,
Yeah.
emotions, exactly what you said, but the opposite. However, just for people to understand what Tamara is talking about, Michael Mann, 2094, probably the movie Heat. Remember that movie? There's a scene with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Al Pacino is the cop. Robert De Niro is the criminal at that point, and
in
they're
the
sitting
diner,
in front of
right?
each other
Oh
in the
yeah.
diner. They never worked together in real life. They never worked together. Actually, they just met for the final round where they shoot each other because they were busy.
Yeah.
And that scene is fantastic. But you were right. They're talking to somebody that looks like Al Pacino, right? And
Right.
he's just there to see the shot in the back for his
Right.
hair,
Back
and
of the
that's
head.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, and
But
maybe
that's
there's not
a little
even,
trick.
maybe there's nobody there at all. But yeah, it's, you know, yeah, it's different when you have to, right? Like film acting is all about subtlety. Like you can just see like a gleam in someone's eye. Well, you can't see a gleam in someone's eye in, you know, a 500
That's
seat
theater.
house. Yeah.
So what is going on in your life right now? What are you working in the theater, and
Yeah.
where that's coming? Where
I will say right after this, thank you for moving my time, by the way, to an earlier time, because I have a new play workshop with a friend of mine called the working title is Lesbian Beauty Pageant. And it's very, very, very early in process, and so it's literally we're just getting a couple of actors together to read, just to hear out loud what my friend Amy has written. But it's like roughly about where's the representation on stage for masculine of center, like more butch presenting people. Like there's just like there's really not a lot. And my friend Amy Driesler is an amazing performer, an amazing actor, and she really struggles to get cast because um, there are just like not a lot of roles for people that are written
I'm
that
gonna
look like.
say that you don't want to say because you're politically correct, because people are fucking idiots, because people they don't realize that talent comes in every size, weight, genres, and everything, and people are really stupid. Sorry, I didn't say it
There's
because I'm just
there is that, but there's also just like there's just not people writing specifically. Like, yeah, there are a lot of roles she could play, right? Like she could also, there's no reason that someone who is kind of short and like masculine presenting can't also be a romantic interest in a heterosexual relationship. Like, believe it or not, like boys have been interested in me in the past. Like it does happen, but also like it would be awesome if like she could play herself, um yeah, so I'm working on that, and I also was just hired recently as the new director of the annual Fertile Ground Festival of New Works, which is a citywide festival in Portland. I think it's going into its 15th year. I really should know this, but it was like online for 2 years and then took a year off. Um, but it is all new local acts of creation, is what we call them, to be inclusive. Um, and so yeah, I'm writing a lot of grants. I'm trying to raise some money, trying to get registration ready, trying to let people know that they should present their work at the festival, which is going to be in April.
congratulations.
Very cool.
You touch a really important job. I mean, a very important thing of your job, and I know you need to go, and I'll be fast. A person want to do theater, right? You got to do the whole hustle. You need to find the grant, you need to find the money, you need to find the place. Do you recommend somebody that brings people with expertise and pay them, or to do the whole step by themselves? What would you recommend for somebody that want to do theater nowadays?
I think it depends on what scale you want to do it. If you're like, I would like to put, like, I have a show, I've written a show, or I have a show that like I'm passionate about acting in or whatever, but I've never produced, like, hire a producer, like definitely hire a producer, or I mean, yeah, again, it depends on scale, but there's so many like things to think about that really, if you are trying to focus on the excellence of the artistic process, you shouldn't be thinking about, um, have I gotten the fire marshal to sign off on using flash paper in this scene or whatever. Like there are too many little things like that, like what are the how big do the aisles need to be ADA compliant, and contract, you just like, so like yes, I would say hire me. That's what I would say.
That's what I was getting to. You see, so just maybe we can sum it up of decide what you want to play in your play, and then surround yourself that people that doesn't do what you want to focus in. Right? That would be a good way to say it.
Honestly, I think that is like that is how I live my life. I really know how to do hardly anything, but I know exactly who knows how to do the things well. And get them. I will introduce.
It's funny because I called him. Sorry. I apologize. I called her yesterday, and I asked, you know what? I need some dungeon masters. And she's like, oh yeah, I got three, just like that. I mean, it wasn't like for what you. I got three in mind. I mean, I need to look, but I got three, right? So yeah, so you will be called in the theater a general producer, in real life a facilitator, if you will.
Sure.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
I like it. That's
Very
your
good.
new nickname.
The
I like it.
facilitator.
The facilitator.
That sounds like a hell of a production. Tamara, do you have time for one more question?
Sure.
Okay, so I have to word this properly because it's bouncing around in my head. But basically, if somebody is in a situation similar to where you are, where they're working with kids and trying to get more kids interested in theater and the arts, is there any advice you could give someone in that position if they're dealing with some kids who just don't seem to want to do anything, or probably more specifically, who you can tell they're interested, but they're kind of putting on an act like they're not? I would, at least when I was growing up, that was probably way more common with boys. Is like, because I was the same way. That's kind of like my genesis of theater story, which I won't get into now because it's lengthy. But like, I liked it, but I didn't want to sell that I liked it, So are there any tips or tricks that you have in that realm that you would like to share with anyone who might be in a similar position?
I mean, yeah, okay. So I mean, I think it depends on like whether you've got like a couple of holdouts or you've really got a group that is resistant. If you've got a group that is resistant, I mean, it all kind of starts with like meet them where they're at, and like even nowadays there are certain kinds of like theater games, theater activities, warm-ups, whatever, that I don't like to do because they make me feel silly, and feeling silly feels vulnerable, and it's like it's difficult, it's important, but like recognizing that resistance is about discomfort and building a level of comfort rather than putting people in a situation where they're just going to like recoil or clamp up more. You've got to like build that comfort. So, if you've got a couple of kids who are like, I don't want to do this, or they're just kind of like half-heartedly doing it, you just ignore it. You just ignore it. Don't draw attention, because if they're uncomfortable drawing attention, but you can very generally give direction, like, now everybody do it like 200% or 2 times as big. That's a way to kind of like bring people from kind of like floppy and resistant like to doing a little bit more. But it's or you just like let them sit out and they're going to see how much fun everyone else is having. This is kind of like the standard rote theater teacher response, right? Like, if they're like, I don't want to, just be like, fine, you don't have to, go ahead, take a seat. And maybe they'll just sit that game out and they'll be like, oh, I was given an option and now I feel empowered and I'm more likely to try something in the future, because I know that if I feel uncomfortable my like boundaries are going to be respected. So that like choice options, always a good way to engage. And then just like wait, like just believe and like always be open, like, hey, are you ready to get back in? Every day's a new day. You just never know. We had that with this group I'm working with right now. Is like really didn't want to do like the name and gesture thing, and really was just like on day one completely frozen. And by like day 10 wasn't, like doing backflips, but was like moving, and like her mouth was moving and was saying the words. And like that's sometimes that's just huge, right? Not everybody is coming from the same place, and not everybody's going to get to the same place. I would really say the number one thing is like respect kids' boundaries and know when to push and when to back off. That's what I would say.
Good. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here with
Yes,
us.
thank
I
you.
know I will have you the whole 3 hours, to be honest with you. But I know you have a lot of things to do, and we appreciate it. We're gonna add all your information in the info of the video. If you wanna contact, right? Tamara. Sorry,
Oh,
it's
it's
my
okay.
Latino person.
No, that's totally fine.
No, the facilitator.
The facilitator.
That's the facilitator. I guarantee that the next poster for the next thing is gonna be a poster of the facilitator, because it's something that we have here. Every podcast we do a funny poster for it, so you're gonna be the facilitator.
I'll put it in a thumbnail in my, because I actually have in my personal email, which I haven't emailed you from, but in my personal email it says director, dramaturg, facilitator, because I'm also a facilitator.
There you go.
Yeah.
I read it.
Now you're
Thank you so much.
Now you're the facilitator.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I'm always happy to come and talk about theater and talk about myself, and appreciate both of you.
I will be in touch with you later. I have another podcast that I know would love to have you on, so I will reach out. Well, I don't have another podcast. I know another podcast that would love to have you on. So
cool. I love it.
Absolutely. Fun. Thank you again for coming.
Right. Thank you both.
Thank you. Bye. Our IQ went up a few points with.
I know, dude. I feel so much. Look, the Shakespeare's front row now. It's always been front row, but now I see it.
Yeah, I know. The facilitator make it a good podcast today. So let me tell you, if I want to continue talking a little more about theater, if you allow me to.
Absolutely, because I definitely had more.
With you, I want to share with you a little my biggest experience on that. And I know we're a little late in the schedule, but I was traveling to, I don't remember, someplace in Europe. I don't remember which one, to be honest with you. But I managed to spend one night in London. So I arrived, get out of the airport, spend the night there, and the next day, like around 4 or 5 p.m., I was going to fly to wherever I was going. And I'm in London, right, for the first time in my life. And I want to go and see theater. I didn't care about anything else but theater. So I run, and they have Billy Elliot.
Oh, nice.
But wait, I got there, and I went and make the line. I say, hey, I want a great seat, right? First time in London. I told this story to the person that was selling the tickets. And I say, what else do you have? And he told me, well, you want an adventure, mate. I'm like, hell, I want a freaking adventure. And that was my English guy, really bad, but he said that. He's like, we will rock you, but it's 45 minutes away, and the play starts in an hour. And I told him, I don't know should I take a cab? They don't call it cab there. He told me, bollocks, I will rip you up, and you will not make it. I go, okay. So he actually, in the how you call that, the little book where it's all the information of the play,
I don't know. Oh,
the
the
one that they give
playbill.
you,
The
the
playbill,
playbill.
yeah.
In the back, he make a map and he told me how to run, how to get into the subway, where to stop, where to change, go to the subway, get out. Just to leave that thing for a second, I feel like James Bond for the next 40 minutes, going in and out, right? Like running. And I actually ran and made it to We Will Rock You. It was Freddie Mercury's tattoo at the end. I mean,
Nice.
outside. Went in. I get a great ticket. It was the orchestra, and I was just 2 rows in front of the mixing board. Jake was one of the just thinking about it, I get chills. Biggest experience because the theater place was fantastic. The performance in London, sorry Broadway, but the singing and the sound was so perfect that in song 1 I was shocked. In song 2 I was full of tears. The delivering of of that play, it was one of the biggest experiences of my life. So
It's
yeah, I want to share that with you because if
yeah.
somebody goes and watch it, it's fantastic. That play is fantastic.
I've got a similar. It's a short story too, but I've got a similar story. Very different though. It was kind of my first. I was very young, so it was my first kind of perk up and being like, "Oh, I like this stuff." In Indianapolis, where I live, and it's still open today, there's a very, very small theater downtown called the Indiana Repertory Theater. And their shtick, it's very, very small. So they do what I've kind of dubbed intimate productions. And what I mean by that is it's usually like 2 to 4 actors. No, not those kind of intimate
That
productions.
intimate.
It's not that kind of
I was
theater.
asking.
No, it's usually 2 to 4 actors per production, but they
Wow.
do big shows. So I was in elementary school. I think I was 9 years old. They took us to go watch Cyrano. I don't know
Wow.
what happens in Cyrano, which is funny though, because I also, when I was younger, I loved the show Wishbone. So I don't know if you're familiar with it, PBS show, but anyway.
I'm not. Believe
Oh,
it or not, I'm not.
okay. So the concept of Wishbone is it follows around a Jack Russell Terrier who loves literature, and every episode Wishbone, which is the name of the dog, picks a story that just happens to coincide with what's going on with his teenage owner in his life. But and they tell the A and B story simultaneously, but Wishbone is usually cast as the main character in the story. And obviously the dog talks, right? So you're not completely lost. But when they did an episode of Wishbone where they did Cyrano, I don't remember the name of the full book, but they did the book. I knew the story and I was like, oh, wow, this is cool because I totally know how it ends. So it's like my first exposure to not really foreshadowing, but like, what do you say, crossover, where I knew the story, but I'm seeing it in a different
Yeah.
medium. Anyway, Cyrano is not a small production. There are multiple characters, but there are 3 main characters. And the way, Virus, I'm not kidding, the stage may have been 8 foot by 8 foot. It's not big.
Wow.
They tell
It's
the
not
entire
big at all.
they tell the entire story, and through sheer creativity and just talent, they tell the entire story of Cyrano with 3 actors. And I, as a 9-year-old boy, I was moved by this play. Not quite to the point of tears, but, moved by it. And
Can
from
you
then,
say Cyrano again, please?
Cyrano.
Just say it. Ah, thank you. Sounds so
Cyrano.
classy in English. Sounds so classy in English.
Yeah. But anyway, and it's like, and as an adult in my 30s, I still look back on that and can still remember how I felt. And that to me is the magic of not just the stage, but of the arts in general. But virtually every stage play I've watched, I can remember because it's just different. You know what I mean? It's just a different experience.
Wouldn't you love that people that, because what you said is really impressive. They don't lose the soul of the story. and they make a unique representation, like an altered universe in our world,
They
in that world of
enhance.
entertainment and comics.
Yeah.
But they enhance. I
Hmm.
wish those writers work in DC Comics are in Marvel Pictures.
Let me tell you. Are you familiar with the story of Cyrano?
Yeah, but
Okay.
please share it with the audience.
So
It's Cyrano, actually, but it's really please. I
yeah.
love how you say it, though.
I'm giving you the extremely condensed version, and I forget all the other character names because I'm on the spot. But Cyrano is a man with an abnormally long nose, and he believes that he is ugly. But Cyrano is beautiful in his mind and has a way with words. He's a wordsmith. He can make you fall in love with the pen, basically. And his best friend, what is his best friend's name? I can't remember.
I don't remember. Because you're breaking me crazy, because I read as Cyrano de Bergerac.
That's
so when
it.
you
Yeah.
say Cyrano, sounds so freaking cool. But yeah.
Well, I mean, your pronunciation is correct, but I'm saying it in the English.
Yeah, but it sounds nice when you say Cyrano.
Yeah. So let me see, because this is
Actually, meanwhile you find information, remember the movie Naked Gun? What was the name of that actor?
Leslie Nielsen.
No. Oh yeah, he did a version of Cyrano of Bergerac. Fantastic.
Yes, he did. It's very, very good.
Fantastic. It did it as a comedy, because actually it's a comedy. All right. It's by Edmond Rostand, and it's a comedy, but it's a loving comedy, because he falls in love with the girl that he's helping to fall in love with his best friend, because he feels so ugly that
I can't
he doesn't.
I can't believe I forgot Roxanne.
Of course, Roxanne.
I feel so dumb. But anyway, Cyrano pines for Roxanne. However, Roxanne finds herself with a suitor. Now, the suitor is a very handsome young man, but does not know how to talk to her. So, Cyrano agrees to help said suitor by telling him what to say and writing love letters, which eventually woos Roxanne. Spoiler alert, something happens, the poor gentleman dies. Cyrano keeps the secret until they are both elderly, and with his dying breath, he confesses that it was him the whole time. Now, there's a period which you would call a montage in film, but on the stage, I don't really know what you would call that. But basically,
I don't know how you call that in the stage.
But it's basically a montage of Roxanne receiving all these letters. Now, in this very small stage, this little 8x8 stage, the way they do it is brilliant. First of all, you don't notice it at the time, but they really like the stage. The stage is made of letters. They're covering the floor. And then she's finding them in random places. And the way they do it, they convey it on stage is just so innovative and cool. Like, I can't stress it enough. But if you're in the Indianapolis area, and the other thing too, the IRT is not expensive. It is very inexpensive to go to.
They're gonna be really.
Yeah.
I don't know how they survive, man. To be honest with you, I feel bad. A long time ago, I had a meeting with a lot of important people in the industry of theater, exactly when COVID was happening. And I gotta give them, they're so purist of the art, that I told them what we should do is do this. And it was just bringing theater to the masses, right? And they told me no, because we need to protect the soul of the art. And that was something. Okay, I want to jump into the last story of theater that will guide us for our next topic, if you allow me.
Absolutely.
Like I said, this is a continuation of what we were talking with our guest. In that play that I said, the play is a magnificent play that it was written by a magnificent Latino writer. I don't want to go into details but the story is about the celebration. Celebration of it's not a celebration. It's the remembering the Holocaust in the 50s by Jewish people, and they got together and they pray and they do, because they're remembering all the people that they lost. And in this specific play, uh, is the story about a guy. I don't know how much I can say, but it's really passionate. It's really passionate. I can't talk about it, but it's really passionate. It took me 23 years to get the rights. 23 years, right? And I was there, and it was based in somebody's real story. And I was there looking at all the rehearsals that I comment before. And suddenly, when I make this example that the director, Jose Enrique Gorlero, was asking everyone, "Hey, what do you think?" He asked me, "What do you think?" The lead character of the play is called Stefan, and he asked me, "What do you think?" Back in the day, Virus Vox was better known as Ponty. Don't ask me why, but it was my nickname when growing up. And they said, "What do you think, Ponty?" I said, "Well, it's great, blah blah blah." I don't even remember what I answered. But then he said, "What do you think, Stefan?" Stefan, the survivor of Auschwitz, was sitting down 5 seats away. And he stands up and says, "Thank you very much. You did something beautiful." And he comes to cross and he say, "Nice to meet you, young man." And I see his tattoo here, man. And I saw his eyes. It's the first time that I see death through a living person. And I was really young. And Mark, probably that day is what I make entertainment. Probably. And he smiled.
Wow, you just brought
And
back
he
a
smiled at me.
you just brought back a memory for me. That's a very surreal moment when you see uh, when you see a Holocaust survivor's tattoo in real life.
And when he smiled, make me remember how through pain you find the survivor skills to. And of course, it's wrong what they have to go through and everything. And sadly, guys, I don't want to get all serious because it's an entertainment podcast. But this one is gonna guide us to the next topic. It's sadly to say that we're in war again. We are at war. I don't know how many wars have you lived. I This will be my fourth because
It
everything was Afghanistan for me.
it would
I'm a
depend.
little.
It would depend upon your
It,
definition of war, but I guess technically in my lifetime, uh, this would be number 4. Yeah.
so yeah, exactly. Because we're similar in age.
Mm-hmm.
Definition of war for an American citizen means that we were involved in war.
Yeah,
That's the definition of war.
military action. Yep.
Military action. I still don't get. My grandfather fought in the Second World War. He was a pilot uh, from the 201 squad that actually fought for the Allies against Japan. He was in an island, was the only uh, squad that they were side there, and I still don't get why the biggest memories of my grandfather was how many enemies he killed. Every time they make an homage, because he died way before I born. But every time it's like they say their name, then how many kills he got, and how he become a war. And I think that the war is an awful thing, but it's work how we face it. Because sadly, regardless of my personal beliefs, that I'm with everyone. Don't take me wrong. Don't even start thinking. I'm trying to be globally with my comment, even it's really hard what I'm saying. But the people that are our enemies or our allies, they're just defined by the information that they give us. Uh, you could be the hero or the villain in just a nanosecond. And I don't
Uh,
want to go deeper because I can go deeper, but there's the people that they're fighting for and correct me my English, the Gaza line.
Gaza. Yep.
Of course, they do it they're doing it wrong. They're doing terrorists. But if you ask them, they're doing the right thing.
Well, and
That's what drives me nuts.
that's where I would push back a little bit on what you just said. I think there's a lot of fine lines, but there are also a handful of pretty clear lines. And, I can point to history. It's like, many people in the Nazi party thought they were fighting for Germany. I don't think you can really, and granted, we have many, many, many decades of hindsight. I don't think that you can make that claim on a very absolute level because of what they did and how they did it. Now, when it comes to, I always try to make this distinction, and I have thus far. When we're talking about this specific conflict, I try not to say Palestinian. I try to say Hamas, because I'm fortunate enough I've met some Palestinian people over the years of my life. And like everybody else, these are people that are just trying to live their life. Some very unfortunate circumstances. I don't want to minimize that. However, when you're talking about Hamas, they can say that they're fighting for the Palestinian people all they want. I think it's horseshit. Because
it's like the Nazis says that they were fighting for the Germans.
It's horseshit.
It's horseshit. But I agree with you. But if we ask Hamas, if we ask them, they will tell us that they are right, that they're defending their land.
Yeah.
And that's my point with the world that we're living, man, is obtuse and lack of empathy that we don't have the right to stop these kind of things. Started with Ukraine a little bit ago.
This is a very different conflict, though. Not to interrupt you.
But it's a conflict where people is dying. That's my point. Forget about the drama. Forget about the. I got to a point and then I shut the hell up. I promise.
Okay.
My point is like, what the fuck? Because, and I'm gonna go raw. And if they put this down, fucking put it down. But the mother in Ukraine that lost her child is suffering as much as a Hamas fighter that because he was stupid or convinced to do the right thing that is not, died, or is as much as a Jewish mom that just lost his kid. That's what I'm saying. Regardless of their age, it doesn't supposed to be happening at this age of time when we can just push a button and communicate with each other. It doesn't supposed to be happening when we can. First World War, somebody shot the con, right? Franz Ferdinand. Oh shit, we are in troubles. 3 months later, somebody learned, and at that point, it's a freaking thing. Not anymore, man.
Yeah, well, and I can
exactly what's going on.
Yeah, well, and I can go on a diatribe about World War I. One of my biggest pet peeves is when history teachers say, "Oh, it started because of the assassination of Franz Ferdinand." Debatable, but that's another topic.
But that's what I was just making an example of.
Yeah, but I would.
Whoever that narrates the story that wins is going to narrate the path.
To a point,
feel ashamed.
Although thanks to technology, that's not necessarily the case, at least not concretely. But because there's a lot of comparisons being made, at least politically in the U.S., about they're putting aid to Ukraine and aid to Israel on equal footing, and I just they're very, very different, because when you're talking about what's going on in Israel, so full disclosure, I'm not Jewish, I'm not Muslim, I'm not even Christian. I don't have a dog in this fight, but what I do have are eyes. And this is a conflict that was this specific isolated conflict, because I know there's a lot of history, and that's where it gets complicated. This specific conflict is much less complicated because this all started because Hamas fighters crossed into Israel and killed civilians. Not accidentally. By their own admission, they were trying to kill and kidnap civilians, innocent women and children. And my response to everybody giving Israel shit is, what exactly do you expect them to do? Nothing?
But
Okay.
who's giving Israel shit?
Oh, tons of people are. Well, BLM Chicago posted a meme with a.
Well, let them fucking finish high school first, and they can talk.
I agree, but no,
If I go to Indiana right now and I kidnap people, I'm a criminal.
Well,
if I go to Indiana now and shoot somebody, I'm a criminal.
100%. Well, Bernie Sanders was quoted as saying that Israel's. Now, I don't want anyone to die. But the minute I say something like this, I get called an Israel sympathizer. Well, in this particular case, I am. But let's, Bernie Sanders was quoted as saying that Israel's, basically military actions in Gaza are war crimes. And I said, you can verify this. I said it on another podcast. I said, you know what else is a fucking war crime, Bernie? Killing babies. That's a fucking war crime. So, not for nothing. Yeah. And the other thing I will say, and a lot of people have said it or something similar to it. Dennis Prager has said it. Bryn Shapiro said it. I know they're Jewish, so I guess they're biased, but a lot of people have said it, is they make this comparison. If Israel laid down all their weapons and stopped fighting tomorrow, what would happen?
The same that happened in the Holocaust.
The state of Israel would cease to exist, and at least the Jewish people in Israel would probably all be killed. What would happen tomorrow? Yeah. But what would happen tomorrow if...
No, you're right.
Yeah, well, but what would happen tomorrow if Hamas put down all their weapons and stopped fighting tomorrow?
There will be peace.
And that, unfortunately, makes the conflict... Well, not unfortunately, but that... I hesitate to say because I know someone will take it the wrong way, but I don't care. When you have that level of difference, it does make the conflict a little one-sided when it comes to the overall morality. Now, that being said, obviously I don't want any Gazan civilians to die. I don't want anyone to die. And the fact that I have to say that to keep people from saying, "Oh, well, you're pro-genocide just in one direction." In terms of sheer numbers, if you really think that the state of Israel is trying to commit genocide against the Palestinian people, you're either wrong or they're really bad at it.
Yeah, because they haven't done it. Now, for the political history about this, for the people that don't know, the Gaza Strip, right, is 4 million people living like this, with no entertainment, with no nothing. I don't remember, it's 2 million or 4.
I think it's 2, but regardless, there's millions.
There's millions in a really tight space that they were put there a long time ago, Jewish people, because the localization based in their religion. And yes, Jordans were pushed away from that, but there was an agreement that people had, that nobody was forced to. They agreed on that, and they welcome and they celebrate together. And now, fast forward many years ago, some radicals called Hamas decide to take it back. That's the reality of things. We can add as much as bullshit, as much as political. I'm sad, man, to be honest with you.
Well, and it's
I'm not Jewish, but half of my people around me are Jewish.
Yeah.
Since I know it's gonna sound like a joke, but from my lawyer, right, to my co-people in the band, my producers, my managers, my agents, they are. And I've been welcomed. We have Alexander Sakal here, remember? He's been my best friends for kids. And it's not fair that in the year 2023, when we're supposed to have the ability of understand better because we already live these kind of things, is happening again. Regardless of who's attacking who's dying who take it. When you need to go to violence to solve a matter, regardless of what it is, when you need to involve a gun, that it will change the path of families and descendants, you are fucked up, regardless of what it is.
Well, particularly in this case,
Uh,
because if you look back historically, and I can't, without looking, I can't tell you how many times this happened, but it's happened more than 3 times.
so many times.
Well, where people come to the negotiating table, the Palestinian side and the Israeli side, and they come up with an idea, and Israel says, "Yeah, that's great. We just want peace. Yeah, we'll give away land. We'll do this. We'll leave the buildings that we built there so that you can take them over. We'll leave the developed farmland. We'll even teach you how to do it." Like all this stuff. And then every single time, whoever's in charge of negotiating for the Palestinian side says, "No, let's
These
just
are
start another
radicals.
war." And it's
Because yeah, you're right. It's so fucking annoying.
yeah, and it's so sad because, and I'm gonna say the dirty word, thanks at least heavily in part to Donald Trump, we were making incredible strides for peace in the Middle East. You had the Abraham Accords, where I can never remember all three. At Bahrain,
I remember we
UAE.
signed it in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
I remember.
Things that people said would never happen happened. I remember UAE, Bahrain, and then there was a third that I can never remember. And Israel, before this, and I think they're on hold, but I don't think it's fallen through yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Israel was in the middle of having basically a peace agreement, which included recognition of the state of Israel with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Never thought that would happen. Normalized relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia. And it was on the table. They were working on it. It's like, wow. And just because of some radicals, this is put in jeopardy.
Yeah. I just hope that they decide what they're going to decide and fast, stopping more people to suffer, because at the end of the day, man, it's just people with power wanting more power, people with land wanting more land, radicals trying to prove a point. This is not a retaliation. This is not, you heard me, just power.
But again, if this was about land, it would have been over a long time ago, because again, Israel historically.
No, I mean,
I know, I'm saying
the whole
it's
perspective
but
of,
that's why there's a lot of people that are trying to frame this in the normal geopolitical lens, and you can't do that because one side is not a reasonable party. Again, if the Palestinian Authority or whoever was in charge, or Hamas even, if they wanted land, Israel would have given it to them 40 years ago. It was.
That's what I'm saying. It's the radicals. It's whoever that wants more power, whoever that wants more land. That's what I was talking in that.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Of the whole thing.
I got you.
It's just that at the end of the day, hopefully it solves. Now,
I'll be honest. I'm sorry. Let me say one thing real quick. I'll be honest though. When Hamas is on the other side, I don't see how that's possible, because when you have one side that wants the eradication of the other, I don't see how it's going to happen. And this is the saddest part. I don't see how that can happen as long as Hamas exists, unless they just have a radical change of ideology.
Then if you want to eradicate the Hamas, you're doing exactly the same.
Well, yeah, but again, so everybody who's criticizing Israel, it's like, what are they supposed to do? They already have one of the most sophisticated, if not the most sophisticated, defense mechanism in the Iron Dome, so that they don't have to mobilize troops into these areas, so that they can protect themselves without military action, and that wasn't good enough. So I don't know what
because
I don't.
The enemy at this point realized what you just said. The only way that they could do it is do it how they do it. Because they think they're heroes. That was it wasn't people trying to kidnap and eradicate. That was their military strategy, because what you just said. Hopefully it works, man. It overwhelms me that. Have you ever been in that area of the world?
No, and I want to go, but every time I think
Not right now, please.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Don't go right now.
Not right now. Now,
for people to understand, the separation between the two countries is not like Mexico and the state, guys. When I say together, are together. Like there's not a big space in the middle.
imagine, this might help frame it a little bit better. Imagine, if you will, that out of nowhere, there's an agreement reached that New Mexico gets ceded back. Or actually, I'm going to make it an even better example. Let's say that the state of Washington gets ceded back to Mexico. Well, not back to Mexico. Let's say it gets ceded to Mexico. So you have the landmass of Mexico, and then you have, or actually, I'll make it better. Let's say that some Mexican.
Okay, make up your mind.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it as close to an example as possible. Let's say that some Mexican nationals.
I got an example.
Okay.
But yeah. Let's assume that the. Okay, I'm going to make it better. I'm just making fun of you. Imagine that you have LA and suddenly Burbank becomes part of somebody else. Period. It's there. They're together. It's like making it Phoenix, right? It becomes independent and the rest is not. It's there together. It's just
that's a much better
and
example.
The religion, hopefully they freaking find a way. I know it's gonna be hard. I just don't want people dying. I got people there. I know people there. I called my lawyer and I say, how you doing? And he told me, I'm okay. And I said, did you have somebody? Say, all my people went out the same day.
Oh,
However, one of my best friends, he told me, and I went, one of my best friend, his son, and this is one of my best friend that he's my cardiologist. His son is the general defending against the Hamas. I don't even have the heart to ask him what he's doing. How's he's doing? If he's alive? I just went silence when I was talking to him. And we leave it, and there's a lot of misinformation. And I don't want to go deeper. I know you could like to go deeper on this, but we're an entertainment podcast.
Yeah.
We will be stupid if we don't mention it. But please, people, if you don't want to be a part of this, I'm talking locally now, domestic issues. You don't have to make a post, and after that post, put how good your fucking pizza is or how great the club is. Don't make it a trend. You can at least post it and shut the fuck up for 24 hours. Because it's annoying that you have the post or the images. I saw one heartbreaking image that they say this is what a mother is living in. You saw the WhatsApp conversation. It was devastating from the morning, how the word, like it was the cover, supposedly the cover of the phone, and you see the messages between the husband and wife saying goodbye, the warnings of the bombings, and then you pass it, and the girl is showing her boobs, like, oh, the club is like, if you want to embrace it, embrace it. If not, shut the fuck up. You're not gonna become more famous.
I've tried
have more likes.
Yeah, I've tried to not engage in posting about Israel on social media. We did a podcast on average intelligence. I said my piece on that, and that's kind of where I want to leave it, because I think a lot of people are going to fall into a trap of constant, unless they're news media where they have to keep commenting on it. There's, like you said, there's a ton of misinformation, and it's a byproduct of it being, one, heavily contentious, and it's a war zone. So there's constantly updating information. I'm trying to avoid falling in the trap of saying something and then lo and behold, it turns out that it's not true, or not accurate is probably more accurate. So when it comes to social, I'm seeing a lot of content. I'm trying not to comment or, make posts about it because I'm not on the ground. Yeah, it's out of respect because I'm not on the ground there. And when I do comment on it, I'm kind of commenting on the whole, not on a specific action.
Yeah.
Although I will, before anybody calls me on it, yes, I did cite specific examples with Hamas, but just because of the barbarity of it. And these were all documented. Like, I'm not going based on reports. I'm going based on videos that I saw.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing you post.
Yeah, because I'm not. But I will say, like, I didn't enjoy watching it, but I felt that I should. Ben Shapiro did a special episode, I believe, on that Sunday after.
I saw it.
First of all, I'm shocked it's still on YouTube. I'm shocked. It's necessary.
Somebody described USA is necessary, but somebody say something to me, a different topic of everything. I was talking to a person in Europe, and this friend of mine, he described the USA in such a painful way because I love this country, man. I don't have any. Yeah, I got my opinion, but I love this country. If I don't like it, what the fuck I move here for? He told me the USA is like the hottest model that you ever gonna see, with the perfect smile and the perfect skin, but she's rotting in cancer inside. And that's the perfection of somebody from Austria. And I know it's painful. So what the fuck are you talking about? You don't even live here. He told me, yeah, but everything is perfect. We smile. We have our life to share, right? But there's a lot of problems inside. I said, yeah, like in fucking Austria. He told me, please name one. And I said, well, this was a good conversation. We talk later, right? But being the top, believe it or not, regardless if the dollar is going up and down, we're still the number one country in the world. And tell me a number one that there's not always want to be put down by the number two. Sadly, in this one is number three, number four, number five, and number six. Uh, when you go to the misinformation, I saw somebody yesterday posting, "Our troops are in. Thank you for saying." Like, dude, what you're posting is not real. First the sign, and then the pictures of the planes. That's a training exercise from like that plane. We don't even use it anymore. That's how old you saw that one,
Right.
right? So
Actually,
please, people, go ahead.
I was gonna say this is kind of unrelated, but I have a story about a meme that somebody shared with me a couple of years ago, and it's a skill people need to learn. I tore it apart because you have knowledge. That's key ingredient number one, and you're skeptical from the get go. So I'll just tell you what this meme was really quick. So it was a picture. It was a black and white photo of a black man who I guess you could say, I don't know what the position would be called, but basically he's hogtied, but he's hanging off of something. And there's a cinder block attached to him, so it's putting pressure on like his shoulders and back, right? But it's clearly a cinder block, like in construction.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the caption was exactly, but it was something to the effect of, the pain of slavery is still with us today, or the pain of racism, blah blah blah, and something to that effect. But they were trying to say that this photo was from the 1860s or prior in the United States. And the first thing I noticed was the cinder block. I said, wait a minute. I don't know exactly when they were invented, but I'm pretty sure it was way after 1865. So I say this a lot. Google's free. So I Googled when was the cinder block invented? I think it was invented in 1928. I don't remember exactly, but it was well after the Civil War. So then I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Actually, was in December of 1934. And this was setting. Sorry, go ahead.
You said it with such authority. But so then I'm thinking, wait a minute. So then I actually do, I actually like try to find the meme on like a fact check. Turns out that photo was from, and again, don't quote me on this because I don't remember exactly, but I think it was from the late 80s or early 90s in, I want to say it was Uganda, but it was from a country in Africa, and it was relatively new. And I'm thinking, oh, look at that. A post about racism that actually took place in Africa, probably from a terrorist organization. So everybody who's like, yeah, man, blah, 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 racism, which racism is bad. But there's a lot of material out there that supports that idea. You don't have to make it up. Like,
I know, man, but people, that's what they do. People keep forgetting because we just call it that, but this is called social media. It's not mass media or not TV media or not radio media. It's called
social media. But to be fair, let's assume that CNN had aired that photo in that context. Nobody would have questioned, or the same amount of people wouldn't have questioned it. The only difference is CNN would have been called out like that by discerning minds.
Yeah, but come on, man. The important thing is that Taylor Swift is selling a lot of tickets.
That is kind of important, actually, because Taylor Swift's an example of somebody who basically gave the middle finger somewhat. I think she gets a little bit more credit.
Make sure Take my wife's name out of your fucking mouth.
Well, there's
No,
there's
she's not
there's
my
been
wife, but I wish.
there's been some. You wish Jada Pinkett Smith was your wife?
No. I mean Taylor Swift.
Oh, okay. You were because I was gonna say there was an update with that whole
Oh,
situation.
oh, I saw it. The entanglement has been happening for 7 years.
Oh,
Oh,
imagine my surprise.
that's just another point that when I say all that you guys saw was prepared. Why? Because it wasn't damaging the marriage. The Oscar needed more attention of the media, and the best actor to do a punch was Will Smith, and the best actor to receive a punch was Chris Rock. Because if a guy that is 6'4" hits me like that and I don't know how to roll, I'll be on the floor with a bleeding thing with a tooth out. So it was totally prepared. But we digress. We hope the best for the best resolution for the people in power, and hopefully we don't have to talk about this anymore. And at the time that this podcast will be out, will be 5 days after our president visits Israel. So hopefully everything goes in peace.
Best case scenario would
Because
be the best case scenario would be by the time you're watching this podcast, it's old news. It's been resolved. I hope, but I don't think, but I hope that would be the best case scenario.
and let's just keep it there. Good luck to the people that is there, and whoever you guys pray, whoever you believe, whoever you don't believe, let's just hope for a fast result. Now,
Now it's time for a
let's
potty.
talk about our next.
It's time for a potty break real quick.
Okay, remember, cheers. So we're back. Thank you. This commercial was by our sponsors, Already Media, Dry Splash, and I don't know. I got this ruler, so I measure my words. Sorry, I just found it here and I thought about that. Let's talk about something really cool. Because this is totally biased and it's gonna take you to something. First of all, I'm really proud to be part of Already Media, and it's been a great experience because that guy over there that created Already Media is our boss, believe it or not, and he's the coolest boss I ever had in my life.
I'm the boss.
Now,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
fired.
you are the boss. But hold on a second. You're the first boss I ever had in my whole life. I never worked for no one. Ever. Never. I know it sounds weird. Never worked for somebody. And I don't know why people complain about bosses because they're super cool.
I
So
mean,
every time I got a new idea for a podcast, you go like, hell yeah.
technically you don't work for me, but
Yeah, I no, but you create Already Media. We're following your lead. Uh, you know what I mean. You're the leader of Already Media, and we're following your lead, and I'm pretty happy with that. I love not to be the leader of this one, but it's so cool that I had every time I got a crazy idea, you actually support it, and I love it.
I just
And
believe that
I don't.
crazy ideas are the
Go ahead.
best idea. Crazy ideas are the best ideas.
Yeah, but sometimes.
Every good idea, and I mean this, every good idea literally started out with at least one other person saying, "You're crazy."
Yeah, totally right. And this gets me to the next topic, and then you will understand what this is prelude of everything. Let's talk about a game that started in 1936, and as always, this podcast is connected. Everything. When I made a mistake. I say 1936. That's the Second World War. What was the First World War? 1914, right?
1914 is when it started. Yep.
Look at that. My history teacher will be like that. I catch it like that. So when the old people couldn't make it to be part of the war, they start imagining that they were going to war. And they become a game not with a lot of rules. They just sit down, the old veterans or the older people to think. Let's remember 1940s, we didn't have TV, right? Let's get that in mind. So that's how they gathered together, mate, to drink a beer right? A pint and play and talk about things. Years after 1981, I got a mosquito that didn't bother me the whole podcast. Um, a company called TSR, they create the game and patented and regulate, may create the rules for a game called Dungeons and Dragons. That is based of you imagining being a fighter in the Middle Eve, uh, and that's how Dungeons and Dragons started as a board game that you needed to go and kill a dragon and rescue the treasure from and rescue the princess and earn a treasure. Then around 1989, it became huge around the world, and it was called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Now you have special dice, special rules. Now you can use different races, yada yada yada. It become a great game to enhance your ability to dream and imagine into a safe place with a lot of people that are focusing to a goal. I think that's the best way that I can describe it.
That's pretty. Yeah, it's like you said. It started out as a basically making the concept of a war game into a fun activity rather than a military exercise, but keeping a lot of the same elements.
The same elements, but here we have fighters, thieves, wizards, enchantment, clerics, monks, a lot of beasts, a lot of races like orcs, halflings. Well, actually, halflings in Dungeons and Dragons are called kenders because you know the rights from Tolkien. They're called kenders, exactly the same. Uh, we have humans, obviously. Then we have half humans, half elves, half orcs. I don't know who wanted to do that, but
Yeah,
a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
abusive things happen. Well, the thing is, the orcs are usually barbarians. Are usually they go and like in the Middle Eve, they rape the people in the village and kill them. Obviously, over there started, or maybe some have an infatuation with pigs and married a really nice, decent orc woman. You never know. But you see that's the best example of Dungeons and Dragons. You can imagine whatever within the rules that they're pre-standard by a book and the story that somebody called the dungeon master is narrating. A guy that or a girl or anything in between that decide to be a dungeon master. I don't see anything wrong saying it like that. I know it sounds funny, but I don't want to say all the
Well,
letters. I don't even
just
sorry,
it.
I don't know.
I chuckle just because in the context of Dungeons and Dragons, that's a pretty wide. It's a pretty
Oh yeah,
wide
well,
berth.
yeah. But I really suck when I say LGT because it's in another language, so everything in the middle. So
Todos.
uh yeah, because I don't know all the letters. They keep adding, and that's cool for them. That's good. But I don't memorize the letters. It's really
For
hard.
you, just say translation. Todos las letras. Just say all the letters. All of them.
All the letters.
All
There
the
you go.
letters.
That's a good one. They write a story or read a story preset, and the story will be evolving based on the decision of a party with a specific regulations based on their characters. So for people to understand this that doesn't know what I'm talking about, let's assume that you're a warrior, right? Everything goes in level, higher your level, more powerful, and you have a sword, and that sword is magic, and a shield, and that's gonna give you more defense and an armor, right? And now it's really heavy, so you move slower, and everything is condensed into there you go, a helmet, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and comeliness. A lot of new version doesn't have comeliness. I'm talking about the version that I enjoyed the most. That means it's second edition with the additions that I want. That's how I play. I don't play anymore, but I used to play. Long story short, you're the warrior, I'm a thief, and together we're trying to save a monkey that fall into a risk, right? So the dungeon master, I I don't want to go deep, but
We gotta go get this monkey.
deep, we gotta go this monkey because as he fell, right? We were spending the monkey's time. We were spending the monkey, and we need to save the monkey. So the dungeon master we set up, hey, it's a risk. The weather is raining. You saw the monkey falling. You two guys don't want to see an animal suffer. What will you do? You have the choice as a player to say nothing and I move on. That's it. But as dungeon master, you need to prepare what happened if you say, I want to help him. Well, what do you do? And I will say, I have a rope. And the warrior say, I'm stronger than you. Let me hold the rope and you go down. And that's how evolved and everything in bigger and bigger and best adventures. That is rule, like I say, for every character, and every character has many possibilities. I can talk about that hours and hours.
It's so much
But
fun, though.
well, it's so much fun. And let me tell you what I'm talking about this. Thanks to our amazing already media and sponsored by Force and Industries Corporation, we decided to do the Dungeons and Dragons role-playing games International Battle Royale. Yes, you're listening to it. We're going to have a new podcast coming soon with players from different parts of South America, Europe, and probably Asia, playing in front of you from the get-go of the story and at the end of the long story, because they're called campaigns. Every story will be 5 episodes. The survivors of those episodes, right, will add a new player, only one. If one person survives, season 2 will be just 2 players, and they will
Oh,
have to
wow.
earn the right to bring somebody new, or a new person, or bring somebody from the past, if the story allowed them to do that. After the full campaign is over, that we're anticipating a lot of shows, the winners and survivors of the story, as Dungeons and Dragons dictates, I love to say this, they will earn a treasure in real money life of $5,000 to the party that wins. If it's just one person, it will take $5,000. If it's 2, well, they could divide it equally.
So what you're saying
The
is
coolest thing is,
there could be some backstabbing, is what you're saying.
of course, and that's part of Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons is committed by the lawful good, that is the good people, like Captain America, let's say. Lawful evil, that would be like Darth Vader, right? It's a lawful evil. He's not a bad evil, he's just evil by nature. Then the middle, we have the neutral, that will be like the judge. He will take the sides of whatever the ruling is necessary. But in the middle of that, the most important arrives. The chaotic good, the chaotic neutral, and the chaotic bad. Chaotic good is you and me. We're good, we don't make bad, right? But sometimes we have fun. Chaotic neutral will look for their own benefit. And my personal favorite is the chaotic evil, that is like Ted Bundy.
Burn
They
it
just
all.
make bad because they burn it all because they want to, like the Joker of the Dark Knight. They just do it because it's good to have evil. So obviously, there's gonna be a lot of backstabbing, because if it's the second season and you know this person is good, you're gonna try
This
to
I'm
mess them
I'm
because it's $5,000 for you.
I'm telling. Although it was funny because when you were texting me these ideas, I was with my girlfriend, and she's just like, "Who's texting you?" I'm like, "Oh, it's Virus. He's got a new idea." But then I start reading it, and I'm like, "This sounds awesome! Like I can't wait to see this."
I can't wait to see it. Right now, we have 3 players, and thanks to Tamara, we're gonna do something cool for all the purists of Dungeons and Dragons. We basing what the research that I've been doing with the team of Force and Corp, because I put the whole company to work on it. Uh, we have a lot of things to do, but yeah, I stopped everything for this new thing. We're gonna use second edition rules with some adaptations from other ones, and we're just not gonna have one dungeon master. We're gonna have a judge that is the one rolling the dice for everyone, and one narrator that he
Ooh,
doesn't get distracted with the rolling. And that's what I approach our guest for today. And they is gonna find us somebody to be the narrator that is an actor.
Ooh.
And we're gonna be, and this is new. Boss Jake doesn't know this. I'm talking to friends, actors in LA, that suddenly instead of have non-play characters, NPCs, a guy will appear on the screen, dress up, saying, "This is the information that you need to do." So people are gonna be,
Oh, this is
why we do
awesome.
this? Because so it's gonna be a real live on like we do our podcast on Zoom. Like I said, we have confirmation right now for a person in Mexico that is a guy that has been playing for more than 30 years.
Is it Alexander?
That back in the day, no.
Oh no, different. Okay.
No. Let me tell you about this. Okay. Yes, fuck it. His nickname was Kiss, like the band Kiss. He's the craziest player I ever seen in my life. I probably was 16 years old, and they invited me to play to another party. And I arrived normal, and suddenly I heard shackles. The guy come with a cape, sit down, and he says, "Hey, thank you for being here." Like, my name is Inigo Montoya. I can't say that. Don't remember. You killed my father. Prepare to die. But he played the role so good because remember, we're gonna have, like I say, a price. This is totally free, by the way. If you want to be part of this, text us, follow us in social media. If you want to be a part of this, go ahead. This is totally free. We're not gonna charge to enter. No. The coolest thing is that we're gonna have side votes. Who was their favorite character, right? So they're gonna win other prizes. Now the 5,000 cash, baby, right? Well, it's gonna be a sell deposit, cash, baby, right? But the people that see somebody died, we're gonna make T-shirts of him, right? And if people want it back, they can vote online. We're creating a website specific for this, and I'm really excited about this project because, first of all, I'm gonna be able to watch it. Now, I'm still deciding if I'm gonna play. If I play, the profits will be donated for any guys that you people decide.
Like you win, you
So I
mean?
can earn it because if I win, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry, my mistake. Because I want to. At the beginning, I just wanted to watch it, but then I'm like, oh, this is really so cool. Probably I'm just gonna produce it. I don't know yet. Or I can be an NPC or whatever. I
I'm
got an idea
down.
for who's gonna be.
I'm down to be an NPC.
There you go. So it's gonna be really good. Believe it or not, we're not the only ones with a similar idea, but we're taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
Force and Corp and Already Media always go. Already Media and Force and Corp always go to the next level. We're not gonna. This is gonna be an exciting. I will invite you to sit down, and we're gonna push our players to be their character from the moment the thing starts. So when you're listening to the podcast, you can or watching it on YouTube, you close your eyes and you're watching a movie in your mind.
That is so cool to hear because I hadn't texted you this yet, but I was thinking I'm like, oh well, I guess this is going to be a YouTube only because it won't really translate to audio. But what you're describing is you can listen or watch. It's like you said, it's a movie in your mind. I'm stoked. I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun.
So yeah. So if you guys know players, if you want to play, just contact us in every possible social media. The music of the show will be delivered by the beautiful again and forever. And right now, before the podcast started, I was talking to somebody in Austria. Oh, remember the conversation that I got with a European person. So I'm talking about people around the world to be able to have many accents, many people, different ideas. People is struggling with English. Somebody told me, "Hey, my English is not perfect." I said, "Great. In Dungeons and Dragons, everybody speaks common. That doesn't mean that it's a native language."
It doesn't mean it's
He's like,
good either.
"Awesome."
Yeah.
He's like, "Awesome."
Before I forget, do me a
Go ahead.
favor though. If you have anything written down for this, send it to me so that I can put it on the RT Media blog as well, just as a blurb to put
Boss
it
should
all
have
out there.
everything already.
Oh, okay, it's what you sent me. All right, cool.
Yeah, we're sending that invitation. I've been looking around social media to see who plays, how they evolve, and it's cool because the important thing is some characters will survive, some will perish, but they always be remembered.
Man,
Oh, it's good.
this means we need some really solid dungeon masters because I will tell you, I didn't play a ton, but I did play, and the dungeon master made it awesome or suck. Like,
Yeah, but that's what we want. I'm good that you bring that up. I'm gonna write the stories as
this
a
is gonna be
writer that I
good.
am. The story will be read by me. We're gonna have a judge that roll the dice as doing the responsibilities of the dungeon master, and the person that will be the dungeon master is a professional actor narrating the story, enhancing the decisions. And I know it's not gonna be for purists, but this is a contest, people, right? We need to make it good for the competitors. If the audience love it, amazing. But I really want. It's gonna take a little time to prepare because I want special effects involved and everything in the moment for the players to feel the thing.
This is gonna
Right?
be
So we're
so
gonna get
cool.
there. It's gonna be so cool. My girlfriend is gonna hate me because I'm getting more time than I suppose on this, and I need to keep working in Dry Splash. But let's do it for. Let me tell about my character, Jake, if you allow me. My character
Absolutely.
is called Dominic Dragon Slayer,
Flayer,
son of Donovan Dragon Slayer. Yeah,
Slayer or Flayer?
Slayer.
Slayer. Okay.
Play.
Yep. Well, because Flay
Son
is,
of.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But no. Uh, son of Donovan Dragon Slayer the first. He was a normal kid that his dad was a paladin that forgot about him. Grew up, become a warrior in his town. Nothing special about the guys. Nothing special. Till one day, to try to save his father in one adventure, he petrifies his father and his best friend, his guidance, because he was trapped by a demon called Pazuzu. And when he asked for a favor to save their fathers and make them survive, they make him a stone on the hell. So he became a little crazy. And because he became crazy after coming from the seven hells, right? Being 17, somebody was kind enough to put him two belts, one of strength, so he was stronger, but one a feminine belt. So he became gay for probably 4 years of his life. But a feminine belt that actually exists in the game make you do something that you don't want because it's magic in your body and you're perceiving that you don't want to do things. So when he finally released from that belt, he became more damaged, and then he was in jail and he was abused, and then because he lost his father, he became crazy, and now he got a sickness that he had a psychotic personality, and the dungeon master every 3 rounds rolls a dice, a six-sided dice. If he got number one, he becomes paranoid or schizophrenic. So playing a character like that, you need to have a skill of actor on you. And now he's neutral evil. Is the worst of the worst. He's worse than a chaotic evil. He just make he loves to kill, so he's a bad character. I'm not gonna be using this one.
I was gonna
I'm
say
not gonna be
that
using this one.
that actually posed a
No, because
question.
it's level.
So
Yeah, I'm
the
not gonna be using this one.
but are players who are they going to be required to create new characters for these campaigns, or are they going to be allowed to
No,
bring
they're
in?
gonna be able to bring. They're gonna have two options, and that's what I was giving you this. And let me finish the story.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
uh, my character became level 25 or an anti-paladin, so it's impossible to play anymore. He can be played because if he go into a party that everybody's fifth level, my character has 300 hit points. That's the points that you like your blood. And so it became an NPC. But this is when it becomes interesting. If you want to win $5,000 and you have a character like mine, you will reset him and send him back to level 1
Ooh,
with the
so
physical and mental characteristics that is free, or we could address you one by luck. It could be whatever that random. So it's something that the players will need to do. The last time that I tried to play dungeons, it was complicated for me because they invite me, and I want you to picture this with me, and I want the audience to picture this with me. Probably just after COVID, everything is getting open in LA. I received through Meetup an invitation to play dungeons, 30 minutes from my house. As humble as I am, I jump in my Ferrari
hmm.
and I drove to a hobbyist, a comic book store, a hobby place. And the parking just at the door, I park my Ferrari. I get out with all the devices that I needed, and I sit down. And then I realized that I was too old to be there because people were like 18 to 24, and they came. And I'm clarifying this for the players that we're gonna have. The people that they're gonna be playing people that they've been playing for more than 10 years. I'm not saying that everyone needs to. If you want to do it and you know the rules, you're welcome. But they start saying, oh, we cannot talk about fire. We cannot talk about death. We cannot talk about, wait, hold a second. A barbarian, a thief is going to steal, an assassin is going to kill, and a priest is going to pray, right? And they start throwing so many rules not to get hurt that they say we will not have fights. I go like, that's the concept of the game. No, it was absurd. I say, guys, you're awesome, but I'm just gonna leave because this is not for me. And if some people get offended, well, don't watch the podcast because we're gonna be playing like it's a real life story in the Middle East. If you read a little, it was a really rough time.
Well,
Really rough.
I mean, like, I don't know about LA, but here in Indiana, we still play Dungeons and Dragons with fights and all that.
Because California is in America and you're in America.
Oh, that's
Indiana, you're
right.
in America.
Right in the middle of it.
No, but you know what? Actually, a person that was there, I don't remember their name, I was there 30 minutes. She said, please just avoid any asphyxiation in the game because I feel bad when I think about people dying of asphyxiation. And I'm like,
Don't play
you
D&D.
don't supposed to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't.
exactly.
This is
So
not
this is
for
gonna
you.
be rough. It's not gonna be PG-13. It's gonna be for adults, this game, because we're gonna talk about highly aggressive sexuality matters because they're evil masters against good masters trying to make it work, and that's the way that's supposed to have problems in life. In a game that in 3 hours it's like, hey, see you next week, and nobody goes aggressive to their houses. So I'm really looking forward. The first story is already reading probably 80%. And let's see how it goes. So if you want to help, if you don't want to play, but you want to help, if you're an actor, if you have ideas, if you have a story to share, please contact us in all social media, Already Media, or again on Forever, everywhere, or over ToonTalk 2.0 at gmail.com. Do we have that email? I just made it up, but I make it work.
No, yes, it's all right. I think Toon Talk 2.0 official at gmail.com.
Okay, if not, I will make sure that we have ToonTalk 2.0 at forceandcorporation.com. I can ask for that.
Well, I believe I
And
can tell you actually.
good.
Oh no, it's not letting. But I think it's Toon Talk 2.0 official. But anyway,
Now, the subscription is going to be $2 million each player. We're inviting Vin Diesel, Elon Musk to play. They're in. I'm just kidding. It's going to be free.
but it's okay. You can pay. You can pay in Dragon's Gold.
Oh, it's called gold pieces, but yeah, get the fuck out of here. You're
Well, no,
rookie,
it's
man.
special gold pieces from a dragon.
Depending of the area of the world, but yeah, you know what? When I moved to States to study college, it wasn't released, it was years before, that they released this called Spelljammer. That it was space pirates in the space with Dungeons and Dragons. When I saw it in that time, I go like, this is crazy and stupid. When I read the story, I go like, this is fantastic. So again, hopefully you're part of it. International Dungeons and Dragons Battle Royale, all right, researched by Ready Media and Force and Corp. Next, next,
Next,
next.
we've got new movie releases, strikes, and studio ownership.
I found something that is something that I want to discuss about. So let me put it in the context of a movie. Imagine that you are Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed, and you have a job to do, but you're tense because they can kill you this job really fast. What would you do? Do the best that you can with the weapons that you have, right? I don't know why I'm taking this example, but it sounds really cool. Doesn't have to do shit with what I'm saying. But do you know who owns MGM Studios?
Well, Disney owns it now, but
No,
Disney doesn't
no,
own
no, no.
MGM?
No. More than that, let me stop there. You
Okay.
know that the actors are on a strike, and MGM is one of the studios that is saying, fuck you, I don't want to even talk to you. Right?
Well, hang on a second.
MGM is owned by Amazon.
When did that
MGM is owned
happen?
by Amazon.
That okay, so no,
Well, let me tell you something. Go
okay.
ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say because I know that happened a while ago. I don't know why I'm thinking it, but never mind. Amazon
Who
since 20.
owns
Oh, okay. So
and
no, they got it in 2022. Okay,
yeah,
so
so my point
I'm
is
not
you're
completely
not that crazy.
crazy.
But just let me ask you something, Jake. If the studios are supported by a company that what does for a living? Sell goods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you so why the fuck you stop acting instead of saying I'm not gonna order anything on Amazon? If the leaders of the strike said to the people, let's stop consuming Amazon, like that the strike was over. Like that, because you don't want the whole town to stop consuming, right? Nobody's doing that. So I read this and I'm like, I want to talk. I want to see your perception. Because think about it. Seriously, if all the leaders of the Writers Guild and SAG said, people, one of the biggest owners of one of the biggest studios is Amazon. We will not consume Amazon. I guarantee that the strike is finished in 48 hours. Why?
I don't know about that.
Let
You're
me get you my point of view.
okay.
Go ahead. My point of view is that you need to go to the root of everything. You cannot just expect for the little hand to do something that the brain doesn't want. The studios doesn't want to follow. The studios doesn't want to sit down. The studios are waiting for the actors to get tired. I guarantee, not guarantee, but in my perception, in the leaders of SAG and the Writers Guild said, all the actors and writers will not, and our families will not use Amazon product. You know how much money Amazon will lose around the nation?
Well, this is
So then,
assuming though that people will actually boycott Amazon.
yeah, but no, it's not boycott Amazon. They're boycotting the industry. So it's following the strikes. But let's assume they will lose so much money that the head will tell to the little finger because this is the studio compared to Amazon, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna chop this. Let's fucking solve it. And if that studio falls, the other studios. Well, that's my thinking that I will do. Nanny
Oh,
Fran, if
in
you're listening to this, it will help to sit the other studios down because the other studios is NBC, Universal, and NBC is owned by Disney. If actors stop going to Disney, nothing is gonna happen. Like nothing is gonna happen. Period. But if you have the leverage, is And that was an example came to my mind, but that's too nasty. We will get blocked. But if you're, I don't have a good example because the other one was really good but really nasty. But my point is that when I read that the owners were Amazon, I'm like, what the hell were just attacking the finger instead of attacking the head? So what do you think about that?
I and it's because Amazon is too big that I think this way. Frankly, Jeff Bezos is, and Amazon as a whole is the human embodiment of fuck you money. Like they can outlast anybody's boycott. Just look at what happened during the pandemic, though. Everybody took not everybody took all their money, but everybody took their stimulus money for the most part, and they bought shit on Amazon. You know, Amazon got filthy rich during the pandemic. And say what you will about it, but I'm just pointing it out there. I saw a lot of TVs getting bought with the money that was supposed to help people survive.
Yeah. And they were bought in Amazon because people weren't able to go.
Well, not here. I saw a lot of people carrying them out of Walmart. But yeah, a lot of people bought them on Amazon. A lot of people bought a lot of stuff on Amazon. A lot of people signed up for Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, and they've pounded all this money into these studios. So now it's funny. It's almost like it was on purpose because all these studios got a huge influx of cash. Now, Disney and Amazon have also, since then, made some really, really stupid decisions, like Rings of Power.
Yes. Like Snow White. But that's too much.
Oh, did you see
the Little Mermaid?
Not to get off topic, but did you see the announcement about the Daily Wire producing their version of Snow White starring Brett Cooper?
No, I didn't hear that.
I saw that today. Well, I saw the trailer because at first I was laughing. I was like, really? Like, can Ben Shapiro be grumpy? Please, can we make this happen?
They're not serious, right?
No, they're serious. It's getting released in 2024. But here's the thing. I saw the trailer, and I will say this much. Daily Wire, as a content creator, continues to surprise me. Because I saw this trailer, and while I will admit it was kind of strange seeing Brett Cooper done up as a princess, just because I haven't seen her in any of her like legitimate acting roles. I've only seen her on YouTube. That was a little jarring, but honestly, like, the CG looks really good. Like, it looks like it's shot.
Are you serious? Is that just a little publicity stunt to set up heads?
Well, I mean, let's be real. It is a publicity stunt, but I guess it's their flagship film under their new children's programming. I forget the name of it now. Bent Key Productions. They said they were investing a ton of money in children's programming, and this is their spearhead. And I will say,
congratulations.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple of the movies that Daily Wire's produced. I mean, honestly, they're not bad. They're proficient. Like, they look fine. There's nothing artistically stellar. There's a cat for those who want one. Get out of my face. They're not, I wouldn't say they're like great works of art, but they're certainly not bad. You know, so kudos to them.
Okay, I'm looking at the movies that they have done. So, well, I don't know why we got to that, but
because you brought up Disney. So this is pretty much in response.
Oh yeah.
To Disney's live action take on Snow White.
So just before we close my progression of analysis how to stop the strike, do you know who owns the servers that use Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon? The servers, who owns that? Do you know who owns the servers?
I believe it's Comcast.
No, sir, it's Amazon.
No, it's not. Amazon owns the servers too, huh?
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest business. So again, why you don't stop bitching in front of a door saying, pay me more, pay me more? Just stop using YouTube, stop using Amazon for a week. I'm not good. I'm not in a strike, man. I'm not SAG. I don't believe in SAG. I don't. I'm SAG eligible for many years, and I've been like, no, it's not my cup of tea. I don't want to be part of a union. So do my own productions, and I hire my own actors, and that's it. Uh, but again, if the head is Amazon and the neck is Amazon and this finger is MGM, stop asking the finger, ask the neck and the head. Maybe the only way that this is connected to this and this is the heart. Just stop feeding this. It's gonna get numb. The face gonna be like, just fix it.
Wouldn't it be
Like
interesting?
You say, Amazon owns.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be interesting if Amazon just said, "Ah, oh, screw it. We don't really. It's not worth it. Just sell off MGM." Wouldn't it be interesting if, and if I'm off base, let me know because I don't know. But like, wouldn't it be interesting though? Because what's the motto of MGM? I don't remember the Latin, but it's art for artists, right? Yeah. Wouldn't it be interesting though if SAG and their members put up the money to purchase MGM and MGM actually became art for artists again? Wouldn't that be something?
That will be fantastic. It will be something. I don't think they have the money to do it because they charge not as much as you think. Maybe I'm confused because it was last time I checked. 1% of the profit that you make as an actor goes to SAG, just 1%.
Oh, I mean
you pay 3,000.
Yeah, I mean like the individuals, or maybe instead of SAG, maybe like the Academy of Arts, Cultures, and Sciences. Cool. Yeah.
And they will realize how hard it is to run in a studio with people bitching all the time.
And that's just it. That's like reason 100 why it would be very interesting. Because then all of a sudden, like if SAG owned it, then they'd be having to deal with the strikes. They'd be striking against SAG at that point.
If a director of a studio want to contact me and I give you the solution how to do everything better, faster, and cheaper, I will have the answer. I will not share it in public. I talked about it in a previous thing. We had a project that it was protecting and using everything, and we got stopped by we received a letter of cease and desist from a huge agency telling us, no, you can't do that because we're doing, and all the strike is because of that. Not because of that, but the strikes involves those things. But sometimes I wonder, somebody will have the guts to say, well, we don't need the actors anymore. We'll just create a new unit of actors and bring all the people that want to act, be silenced, and work as a corporation, enjoying their life instead of bitching for millions of dollars. The actors are important. I don't believe that they're more important or less important than the director, or more important or less important than the writer, the producer, the staff. And I don't think that it's cool that the staff make minimum wage and the actor make 40 millions.
Well, believe it or not,
the actors complain.
Yeah, well, believe it, we can bring that full circle back to the theater because there's an episode of The Wonder Years that illustrates that perfectly. It's the one where Kevin, I don't know, you're familiar with The Wonder Years, I assume? The show?
Are you there? You cut out for a second.
Oh, you got me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So there's an episode of The Wonder Years, which I assume you're familiar with The Wonder Years. The episode where
the
Kevin,
first version, right?
Yeah, the original, not the new remake. Kevin, they're doing a school play. Kevin wants no part of it, so he elects to work the light. He doesn't have to rehearse. He doesn't have to do anything. But as the play starts, he realizes that he's just as important as the leading lady because she needs the light.
The light.
She needs it. So just to what you said, no one piece is inherently more important because they're all necessary. But like you said, certain pieces get much more accolade and much more money than the other pieces, where I don't care how great of a director you are. If you don't have a guy who can light the set properly, it's going to look like shit. If you don't have somebody who
and if you don't have a writer,
yeah,
or the writer or the producer, even the catering man, if the actor doesn't eat what he needs to eat, he'll be tired.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't have somebody who keeps all the power cords in order and somebody trips over something. Your Leonardo DiCaprio trips over a power cord and breaks his nose, and all of a sudden production's broken for months while you're waiting for Leo's nose to heal.
Well, it will be probably a benefit for him, but besides that, uh, nah, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just
The
kidding.
internet
I'm sorry.
disagrees with you,
Sorry.
sir.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm jealous of his nose. He's distinguished, like a young Michael Jackson. Remember that from The Longest Yard?
I love that movie. So
Yeah, distinguished, like a young Michael Jackson.
I love little Michael.
Come on. I love little Michael. How does that tell you? Say that you're sorry. I'm sorry.
He said he's sorry.
Great.
Yeah, we're all
He's like, he's
impressed.
sorry. Come on, go. Yeah. That character is such a good character.
Oh my
really
god.
talks,
My friend and I,
and he's
my friend and I, for some reason, like, we went and saw that movie in the theaters like 8 times, and every time we laughed our asses off. It's such a funny movie.
I saw it lately, probably last year, and I laughed the same way.
It's so good.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, Paul. The cheerleaders are fantastic. For the people that don't know, we're talking about Adam Sandler, The Longest Yard, the remake from Burt Reynolds, The Longest Yard, but this one was funnier in a way.
It was.
What is the name of the? Maybe you don't remember the name of the character that is from the cell, the police, that he takes estrogen, and he's like, let them play. They're just doing their effort because he's taking something.
Yeah, I don't remember the name in the show, but it's actually Kevin Nash, former pro wrestler Kevin Nash.
I know. I was gonna go to that point. Well, we have Triple X, that is the guy that we're all impressed. That's another wrestler, correct?
Triple H?
No, it's not Triple H. The character is called Triple X. He's the guy
Oh,
that says, we're all impressed.
Yeah, that's Battle. That's Bill Goldberg, another former pro wrestler.
Another former. Yeah. Who else is a fighter? Well, the big Indian guy.
Yeah, he was a pro wrestler, and then there's one more. There's Stone Cold. Stone Cold Steve Austin was in it.
Stone Cold, yeah, Steve Austin. What about the big guy, Watoski? He was a pro wrestler. I don't never see him before.
I don't think he was a pro wrestler. I think he's just a really big dude.
He's really big, dude.
He's a really big dude. He's a tall drink of water.
I like to play. Yeah. When he's eating the cake, you're like, his faces are really good.
Love Satowski.
How do I look? Satowski, that's the name. Satowski. Watoski from.
How's it look?
Come to the treeouts. Come to the treeouts. That's good. Can I have some support? Thank you, Half Star. When he's talking to the guys in the basketball court. Anyway, if you haven't watched it, please watch that movie.
Just do yourself a
It's
favor.
really funny.
Yeah, do yourself a favor and watch it.
Do yourself a favor. Put a smile on your face. Sadly, my dear friend, we come into the suggestions of the day. It's being fun, but it's time to the recommendation of the day. Please,
let's do it.
Enlighten us.
So my first one, in keeping with the theme of the show, because you know me, I like the theme. The movie I would like to recommend to everyone, I've mentioned it before, but I'll go a little bit more in depth. I would highly recommend, especially if you're a theater nerd, but even non-theater nerds will enjoy it, watch Hamlet 2. It is hysterically funny. The concept is essentially you have a high school drama teacher who is very bad at his job. He's not a very good teacher. But he's a washed up actor who never made it. But anyway, he finds out he's going to be fired. So his swan song is he's going to write the next great musical in Hamlet 2, and it is completely absurd. But it's a very, very funny movie, and it's also a very good movie. You will never stop laughing. The musical numbers are hilarious, and they include, and I'm not joking, "Rock Me Sexy Jesus." It's just do yourself a favor and watch it. I'm not gonna spoil it for you because it's hilariously funny. Watch Hamlet too. You will not be disappointed.
Great. I got a suggestion for you. Continue with the theme because I like what you do every time. From the Latino director Alejandro González Iñárritu, nominated for an Academy Award, Birdman, with Michael Keaton. Everything happens inside a theater. It's a really unexpected. It's called Birdman: The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. So watch it, embrace it. It's Edward Norton, Michael Keaton, and I never can say his name. The guy from The Hangover,
Zach Galifianakis.
There you go. Thank you. Emma Stone, Naomi Watts. Anyway, so it's a really good one. Cinematography, Emmanuel Lubezki, that he won an Academy Award from the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio that we were mentioning, right? What was the name of that movie?
The Departed.
No. Leonardo DiCaprio won an Academy Award for the guy that is fighting the bear.
Oh, you mentioned it before. I thought you. Okay, that's why it felt weird. Because you said The Departed, but.
No. The Departed never was nominated for anything. No, but Emmanuel Lubezki, Emmanuel Lubezki is a Mexican cinematographer that got an Academy Award for Best Cinematography shooting a movie that Leonardo DiCaprio was in. That is when he got the Oscar for Best Actor. Or nominated. I don't remember. He got nomination. But what is the name of the movie? It's a really hard word in English that means desperation or something like that. I told you in a second. Academy Award Best actually, he got 8 Academy Awards for Best Cinematography. He won 3 times, becoming the person to do so in 3 consecutive years. Gravity, Birdman, and The Revenant.
The Revenant. Okay. Yeah, The Revenant.
The Revenant. Yeah, so that's the one. But he won the Academy Award of Birdman too. So it's something that you need to watch. It's not a comedy. It's just a hardcore movie, but it's really good. Second recommendation of the day.
Okay, television show. A lot of people have already seen it, but if you haven't, give it a chance. Particularly seasons 1 through 3. After that, it does kind of start to go downhill. Seasons 1 through 3 of Glee are absolute gems of television. Hardcore fans will stick around after that. Season 3, I think, was the last high point, and then it slowly descended to its death. But I'm not going to say it was never horrible, but I wouldn't say there was like a season that was always horrible. But like I said, seasons 1 through 3, especially if you like theater. If you like theater, I guarantee you've seen it. It's a very fun show, but it also there are a handful of episodes that I think are on the list for best episodes of television ever written and put on television. It's solid. The music, if you're a music nerd, you will be disappointed because for some reason, even though they had some of the best talent in the industry, they overproduce everything, save for a handful of times where they actually let Broadway singers just sing. And then imagine that. It's amazing. But other than that, it's a very, very good show. So highly recommend Glee, particularly the first 3 seasons.
I never see an episode of Glee.
You should.
My testosterone doesn't allow me. Every time I try, my testosterone do something in my body, and I turn the TV off.
You need to put
maybe I try because you're recommending.
You need to put that belt back on.
Stop it.
You're gonna sit there.
I'm not gonna do a TV.
You're gonna sit there and be like, oh my God, he was so right.
Oh my God, he was so right. Do you wanna build a snowman? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. So I will not do a TV show because it will be bad on my side if I don't recommend another movie that is based on the theater. because I select Birdman because of the awards. But there's a movie that every time I watch it, I cry. Tick Tick Boom. I don't know if you guys see it. I don't know if you saw it. It's a great love story musical based in a real story of a guy that is writing his musical and he knows it's gonna work. He knows, and his visualization of that is fantastic. So that's my second recommendation. What is the name of this actor? The guy that did the second Spider-Man. Oh my God,
Oh, Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. First of all, it's directed by Lin Manuel Miranda,
Eh.
and it's Andrew Garfield, and a lot of people that. And Vanessa Hudgens is probably the other famous person.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't
But
seen it, but I've heard of it.
it's really good. The budget was only 55 million, and being an independent movie, the box office was 115 million. So it was really good.
I can't watch
I
it
really
though
like it. So. Why?
because Lin-Manuel Miranda is involved somehow.
You know what? I feel the same about him, but with this movie, I forgive.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. Oh, I do. I was curious about it because it did look very, very interesting. And damn, Vanessa Hudgens kind of fell off the map, didn't she? Hopefully that changes.
No, she did something with the Princess of Disney, if I'm not correct.
Uh,
If I'm not,
I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
all right. So, your print, weird, or book recommendation. What do you have?
Go ahead and
Or what do you
go ahead and do your weird recommendation because mine is a perfect way to close the show.
Perfect. So my recommendation is goodbye, everyone. I want to ruin this for James. Have a good night. Just kidding. This book is a rom-com that is described as the Devil Wears Prada for theater fans. So it's called Cures for the Drama. It's written by Kate Bloomley. Is when an experimental London theatre company decides to stage Juliet's most renowned play, The Lights of Trafalgar. Juliet and Winnie travel across the pond for the opening, but things go sideways quickly when Juliet butts heads with the play director and Winnie is forced to stage manage their relationship. It's a rom-com, really modern, really funny, and you guys will enjoy that reading. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a movie in less than 2 years. Well, if the strike is over.
Yeah. Is it a newer book?
No, probably it's from the 60s.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, it'll probably be a movie in no time. My weird recommendation is actually not weird at all, and it is simply any stage play you can go watch anywhere, anytime. I've seen a lot of stage plays in my life. I don't think you could really say I've seen a bad one. See some weird ones, seen some that take a real interesting take, but the beauty of the stage is that no matter how weird you get, and just for context, the Book of Mormon got made and was a smash hit on Broadway. It's amazing. You should watch it. It's hysterically funny and just good. But yeah. And then one of the best things about musical theater is like, take for example, the movie Beauty and the Beast, which is a musical, but then the musical number Be Our Guest, hate that song in the movie. Absolutely hate it. On stage, it's one of the best numbers. It's just different.
I totally forgot that.
Yeah.
I watched Frozen on theater on Disney, the Disney theater.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, just remind me that it's fantastic. Go ahead, please. Sorry for interrupt.
Well, so and you'll see stories. Doesn't have to be musical theater either. I watched a production of Rebel Without a Cause, a show I never thought I would have liked, but just the way, and this was a high school production, and it was just so good. I saw a stage production of Grease, which I hate. I hate the movie Grease. It's pretty good. It's pretty good on stage. It's totally different. So even if you think you're going to hate it, just go see it. And then when you see a show that you absolutely love, like again, I'm going to be a basic white girl for a minute. I saw Wicked on stage, right? There's a reason everybody and their brother and sister went and saw Wicked. It's amazing. I don't care who's singing Defying Gravity. As long as they actually can sing it, it will give you chills. Just go watch it. Just go.
It's a really good production.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So go to the theater and support these, particularly local. I guarantee you have a local theater organization. You've just never heard of them. Go and support it. It's super cheap, guys. It's nothing. And worst case scenario, you lose a couple hours.
A date.
Yeah, it's a great date, by the way. And worst case
You
scenario,
look like you know what the fuck you're doing.
Wear a damn tie. but yeah. And best case scenario, you find a show that you go see a show that can literally change your life, and you're out maybe $50. Maybe.
And let me tell you something. If you're in Portland, Oregon, don't wear a tie, because you look like an FBI agent.
Okay, well,
but
if
in
you're
other parts of the country, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Good that you mentioned that. It used to be classy and elegant to go to the theater. Now it's not. But if your only option is to go on a hoodie, at least take the hat off and enjoy the theater.
Well, and that's the beauty of it. Even if you show up in jeans and a hoodie, you will still be welcomed. You know, nobody's going to, well, some people might turn their nose up at you, but fuck them, because the lights are going to go out anyway. They'd much rather you come to the theater dressed as you are than if you don't have a suit. Don't worry about it. But in closing, if you're like me and you're in the Midwest and you're kind of poor, there are options. So the Louisville...
Okay, you're a white guy. You're not poor, dude. Smile. You're white. Sorry, another line from The Longest Yard.
You're white. Smile. But okay, if you're less economically... I hate the word. I hate the word privilege.
Poor Americans, dude.
Okay, in the scheme of the world, yes, but in terms of income gap in the country, let's just say you don't have a lot of disposable income. There are options, like I said. There's the
in Mexico, they're so poor that the rainbow comes in black and white.
Well, yes, comparatively speaking, I just mean. So here, like I said, you always have local theater. Check out some, like, this might sound a little weird, but like, scope out the local schools, because sometimes they have amazing theater programs, and you buying a ticket helps fund their program. So don't be afraid to pay money to go see these productions. But if you want to see like legitimate, I hate to say legitimate, but like big name theaters, like just do a Google search here yeah. Because like here in Indy, first of all, there's a couple universities that have amazing theater programs, Butler being one, and their tickets are cheap. Then there's the Indiana Repertory Theater, and Louisville, which is only a 2-hour drive, not even quite 2 hours from Indianapolis. They have a Broadway Across America venue, the Louisville Center for Performing Arts. Again, tickets are cheap. It's a day trip. Go see a Broadway show right down there in Louisville. And plus, Louisville's a really cool city. I don't know why people shit on it all the time. I love Louisville. There's a lot of cool shit to do here, and it's cheap. Like, go to Louisville. It's fun.
Thank you, Jake. Remember to follow us, subscribe, and share. Follow our Rated Media and all the social media. Follow Again and Forever. We need your support. We love doing this podcast. But if you don't support it, I will still do it till the end of times. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, it's the femininity belt. Remember that. You guys need to watch this, The Longest Yard. I love Joy Behar. What a great movie. Okay, people, thank you very much. You guys are the best. Lights out.
And remember,
go ahead.
It ain't easy being cheesy.
Being cheesy.
I have a dream